Hey, and welcome back to Cootser EDU. I'm Faith. Today we're going to be talking about the power of recorded lessons, not just for traditional or flipped classrooms, but in a flexible, flipped-ish way that works no matter what your student population looks like. I'm here to show you that one small change, something you might have already done during COVID, can save you time, support your absent students, and make class more engaging. So, what does a flipped-ish classroom look like? In a traditional flipped classroom, students watch your lecture or lessons at home, and then they use class time for practice, labs, discussions. But with flipped-ish, you'd be making it work inside your classroom when students can't or don't watch at home. For me, I have found that our current student population does not do homework. They've just gotten out of that habit, and their parents don't support them at home. So sending them home with videos to watch, like for a flipped classroom, is not going to work for us, but I can still record my lessons and have them work on them in class. So here's an example of how it might flow. Step one, students would watch the video on their own. They'd come into class, watch a short pre-recorded video at their own pace with headphones. They get to work through it how it works best for them. Step two, they'd respond while they're watching the video. They'd complete something to keep them accountable, like a question bank, a graphic organizer. I have a dual language video notes template that you can get if you sign up for our newsletter at the link below. Step three, they would apply what they're learning. This is where the teacher comes back in and it saves you that time of not having to explain your lesson over and over. Once they are done watching and taking in the video at their pace, you get to spend all of your time applying it with them and helping them really go deeper into it. This is where you also would get to reteach or just be available for questions. Then step four, you'd wrap up, students come back together and share their takeaways, do some kind of formative check, or they can move into a deeper hands-on practice with like labs or something. The beauty of this is that it takes the pressure off of homework, and you still get the benefit of students being able to pause, rewind, rewatch, but you still get to make sure every student has access to that time to watch your video during class. So why recorded lessons? If you're like me, you probably recorded a bunch of lessons during COVID and remote learning, and at the time it felt like survival mode, but those recordings and new ones that you make now can still serve you and your students in really powerful ways. They're especially important for absent students. COVID's coming back around my school at the moment, just a low level. People are getting sick and coming in and out for the last couple of weeks. So rather than having to catch all of my students up on what they missed, I have these recordings that they can go back and watch and catch up. Students with IEP accommodations who need repeated directions, or if they benefit from visually being able to read like closed captions. Multilingual students who could benefit from also those closed caption subtitles, especially with an auto translate function to them, or simply kids who would just benefit from having a second or third run through of the lesson. On my side, it means that I don't have to repeat the same mini lesson multiple times a week because I teach multiple sections of the same lecture. So this picture that I have in the background here is what my lesson looked like in Google Classroom. I uploaded a video and then I linked questions onto slides in it. So this was one of the questions. And Google Classroom has this really nice Edpuzzle-esque feature where it'll pause and make them answer the questions that you've put in. I tested out, there's also an AI function to it where if you upload a video that's not yours, like Bill Nye or something, it will auto provide questions that might be good based off of what the video is about. So kind of a cool way to keep them accountable. Which brings me into, how do we hold our students accountable? How do we make sure that they actually watch? I tried this out in my class this week, and my first concern was, how do I know that they're actually paying attention to my video? Honestly, I have this concern when I'm lecturing too, and the best way to make sure that they're paying attention is to ask them questions. So we do that in person, or we do it in a video. So where tools like Edpuzzle or this Google Classroom add-on feature for video questions comes in, you can embed those checks for understanding directly into your video as little pause points where students answer a question before they move on. And this is an example of that AI feature where if you have a video that's been online for longer, it didn't work with my videos that I made, but with like a video like Bill Nye, it can auto suggest questions for you. All right, so my experience with this, I had planned on doing it with uploading a video and the kids all watching it together while I was there. I ended up taking a sick day when we did this, so my kids worked on it on their own, which worked out really well because we didn't get a substitute and we had to split my classroom, so kids were all over the school in various other teachers' classrooms. And it was nice for them to just be able to log in and watch the lesson and work through the questions. I noticed that my students liked being able to pause and rewind if they missed something, and I liked getting to tell them to go watch the lecture again if they asked me a question that they should have already known the answer to from the video. Embedded questions seemed like it kept them more on task. When I asked them questions about what they had learned before, they seemed like they had all paid attention because they were able to recite back to me what they should have learned from the video. And the best part, I didn't have to repeat my lesson over and over. It wasn't perfect, mostly because of me not being there that day, and some students didn't watch the video when they were supposed to, but overall, I saw a better use of class time than with my lecture first approach. All right, so some tips for getting started for you if you want to test this out too. Keep your videos short, 5 to 10 minutes max. They're not going to have the bandwidth to watch like a full hour-long lesson, just like they wouldn't have the ability to do that during class time either. Use guiding questions to keep them on track. You can either do this as kind of a tricky way of like repeat the sentence that you had just said before that, or you can do just kind of a check for understanding like I did of what they had just heard. Don't stress about polish. Students care more about the clarity of what they're learning than your editing ability, and saying a few times makes your videos human. Store all your videos in one easy-to-find place, Google Classroom or YouTube. Wherever you decide to store them, keep it consistent so that students know where to come back and find your lecture videos from. That consistency really lends a lot to them being able to do this without asking you a tons of questions about it. Recording lessons isn't just about saving a lot of extra work for yourself, it's about building a library of resources that support students, whether they're absent, need extra directions, or just want to review. And when you pair your videos with embedded questions, you can actually see how students are engaging and use class time for what matters most, to practice, get discussion, and real-world applications of things. If you'd like my free watch and respond question bank that gives you some questions that you can really easily plug into any video, just generic things, use the link below to join our newsletter. If you would like to try this out with ELL students, I have a dual language video notes on my Teachers Pay Teachers store, Cootser EDU, and like and subscribe for more ed tech tips.